Good day, beautiful souls. In today's video, I have compiled 6 major topics interweaved with lots of predictions for major events that I believe without a doubt are heading our way in the very near future and between now and the end of 2025. Everything from major outages to civil unrest, world conflicts and peace treaties, and the overall greater awakening that's going to come at the end of this chaotic cycle that we are about to step into. This is my top 6 world events and predictions for 2025 and the remainder of 2025. Let us get started right away, for I have a lot to discuss today, starting with number 6 topic, interweaved with predictions revolved around major outages. Spirit tells us, and has been telling us for quite some time, that we must be prepared for these massive outages and grids consistently going down across the globe. This is something that Spirit has warned us for quite some time, over a couple years now, that this is going to occur in our future. And that future, well, friends, it has arrived. We have already witnessed major outages across Europe with power grids, the London Underground going down, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and so many others. And this is just the beginning. Not to mention other outages that included the Newark airports, multiple outages in their air control systems, and even just recently, the same outages at the Denver airport. This is just the beginning, friends, of what is to come in the coming months. I continue to have these visions of a large city going completely dark. Multiple cities, actually. And in one case, I hear sirens going off in the background of my vision. And I have this feeling that this really strong feeling of dread. So I'm not sure where this is playing out, but it didn't feel very good to me. I felt this feeling of dread, chaos, or even a combination of the two. And this is likely not going to be a short outage like the recent outages in Europe. It's going to be a much longer, lasting several days, which likely will bring in this chaos. Some of this feels like a big cyber attack to me and a plan of some type of an attack other than just the cyber attack. Let's hold in the light this isn't ending up being the case. Many of these coming outages we are being told, are going to happen or have happened without explanation. Although I strongly feel, without a doubt, that governments know exactly what's happening, especially over there in Europe with our power grid. A combination of earth events, geomagnetic storms, and energies are going to have a stronger effect coming up in the coming months on weakening power grids, bringing more outages, especially to islands like Haiti, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and islands even around Greece, and even some outages in parts of Hawaii. So be prepared, friends, not scared. I see major issues with power outages hitting the United Kingdom and England, and this feels more deliberate to me, as much as I want to bite my tongue, as if government officials are actually hitting the shutoff switch on purposely in order to bring more control over the energy usage of the citizens over there in the UK and England. They're going to try to cut your energy off, friends. Oh, they're not going to try, they are going to. And this is likely going to spread to France, Spain, and once again, Portugal and all those places. Problems with power is going to hit California and parts of Nevada, mainly Las Vegas, Nevada. Viva Las Vegas. Alberta, Canada jumped into my mind when I was channeling this information from Team Spirit, making me believe that Alberta will also have some type of power issues, or at least Alberta, Canada will have some type of major issues with other types of outages. Whether these outages, remember these outages aren't just restricted to just power and power grids. I see major issues when it comes to communication companies, such as here in the United States, Verizon, AT&T, and other communication companies, Australia, New Zealand, and across the globe, reporting both cell phone outages and even Wi-Fi and internet outages. Some of those feel purposeful to me as well. So expect some of this to begin hitting really soon. by very late June at the latest, late June, but definitely into from late June into early August and late August. And again towards the latter part of this year, November, December. We're not going to push November and December because we still got to get through July and August, friends, and that's going to be pretty wild, really wild. So communication breakdown, just like the Led Zeppelin song, communication breakdown, baby. Drive people insane. I see outages all along the west coast of the United States, which I feel is going to be caused from multiple events, severe hurricane-like systems, and other Earth events that are going to cause millions of people to be sitting in the dark without power. A combination of not just storms, but earthquake events and large waves smashing into parts of the West Coast in my visions. Los Angeles, California, it feels to me that there is this dire time that's going to arrive to Los Angeles. Now, I warned Los Angeles in the past. And soon after, they had those massive wildfires that wiped out the Palisades, which we know how that all occurred. Well, that's for a whole nother video that I already posted months ago when it all happened. So go back and check that out. But not just problems with blackouts there in Los Angeles, but other types of outages and other types of problems. I also had visions of large fires in Los Angeles, which likely is affecting outages as well. So I don't know what's burning in LA, but something else is about to burn in LA. I'm not necessarily saying this is wildfire related. It could even be related to some type of civil unrest that breaks out in Los Angeles that begins starting fires. Now, Spirit tells us to always be prepared for these coming major power outages. It's always good to make sure that you have enough things to last you several days or at least a week. And it's more important, of course, to have some type of a backup plan when it comes to cooking your food, for your lighting, such as candles or having enough water on hand. That would be extremely important, more important than having food on hand, actually. Because remember, some outages are going to have an effect on the pumping of water into city water supplies. So, when the power goes out, everything goes out. Gas pumps, water pumps, your well, if you have a well water. We also see outages of water systems due to lack of power and other disruptions around water, which I'll go deeply into in one of my other topics today. So again, friends, have water on hand, get your candles, get your flashlights ready, for power outages and major outages are literally on our doorsteps. Our number 5 topic today is civil unrest, as this intense energies that are coming in during the summer months, winter for those in the southern hemisphere, are going to get a bit out of control. We will see civil unrest, massive protests, and even protests turned to riots occurring across the globe. I see major issues with China and the younger generation of China coming together to make a statement against the CCP. One which the CCP will totally, of course, overreact to due to their fear of a collapse of their communist control. That should be really interesting. Reminds me of the whole thing that happened way back at Tiananmen Square back in the 1980s. Kind of almost feels like that kind of chaos. And this could very well lead to China breaking apart in some way in the distant future. I saw it breaking apart. Some type of a separation taking place. This could even involve something to do with Taiwan in the near future, which is in my past predictions as well. China's going to pull something on Taiwan, probably coming up in the very, very near future with all these energies and transits and alignments that are coming into place. I also see protests and things getting out of hand across Europe, especially the United Kingdom once again, with folks just getting totally fed up and a whole bunch of new grassroots groups are going to be forming and coming together. The Netherlands comes to mind, and I'm not sure why, but the Netherlands came to mind, and many parts of Africa came to mind as well. So I'm going to say that protests and rioting connected with those places, and also, of course, between Pakistan and India as well. That's not over. None of it's over. As I said in the past, many of these peace things will be very temporary, and they'll break their peace treaties or their peace agreements. Now, I'm not clear where I am exactly, but I feel that many folks who are deprived of food and water also brings about tons of, we can say hangry, because they're hangry people. Lots of hangry folks fighting to get food and other supplies. Now, we could think that this could be Gaza, but there's no supplies going into there, and very little if there are. So it wouldn't be there. This would be somewhere else. This feels more to me like one of the African countries, parts of the Middle East, perhaps. And even Haiti also comes to mind. I see a lot of craziness happening in Haiti and basically a need for aid to get in there to help them with food. Now, as terrible as this may sound, these are the steps that need to be taken in order to create a new world in the future, a new earth, a golden earth, as some are calling it, where we all thrive together in unity. As folks awaken, and other folks are forced to awaken due to their own tribulations, many emotions are going to arise. Emotions that are going to be challenging for some people to be able to control. You know how people can't control their emotions, causing folks to react and overreact, and sometimes in very crazy, bizarre ways. This is the universe's way of getting everyone to open their eyes and look more closely at the truths within us and all around us. This is a part of the greatest awakening of all. Along with protests, we will continue to also see fed up workers taking action by walking out of major companies such as Amazon and other employee self-strikes that we can label it as, by basically just not showing up for work at all, but doing so in very large numbers, while others together walk off soon after they start their shifts. So that'll be interesting. People getting fed up with their work, with their pay, with their companies, especially with big corporate. And it is a time, with all these structures collapsing, big corporate's one of them that definitely needs to collapse. And that corporate takeover. Now, coming energy waves of emotions that bring out people's frustrations with the current systems is going to bring with it disruptions in different forms of travel. From subways to trains, and even airport issues, of course, airport issues after frustrated employees at airports and airplanes take their own action. Some of this is going to bring issues with shipments as well, getting people, shipments getting to people, including some blockages of some trade items getting through. Now, again, this was in my past predictions. Empty shelves, shortages of certain things. And even though there's an agreement right now, really there isn't, between China and the United States in the trade deal, there really isn't an agreement. It's just that Trump took it off the table temporarily for allegedly 90 days. And I don't think it's going to last that 90 days. And China is going to do some shady stuff in the very near future, including shady stuff towards the United States. Eyes on China, friends, eyes on China. And this all feels to me that this is all on our doorsteps right now. During the next huge energy cycle that's coming in, which is going to begin the final week of June 30th to be exact, but usually comes in a little bit early, so, last week of June, all the way through the month of August, till mid-August, intense times, with the most intense energies of all hitting the last 2 weeks of July and the first week of August. That 3-week window is going to be the most intense, friends. So hold on tight, friends. The seasons of the new roller coaster is about to take off. Moving on to topic number 4, Wade Through the Waters, which is a good song, by the way. The waters is something that I have been talking about and warning about since I put out my 2025 forecast and predictions back in December 2024. Water is a major highlight in 2025. And over the next few years, too, not just 2025, it's just starting. So with 2025 being the kickoff of these major water-related type of events. And we've already witnessed crazy storms and massive floods in 2024, but soon 2025 is going to break all records. We also saw the water conflicts between India and Pakistan. So waters are a big focus. We just saw the ship that smashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. Water Waters and everything water related. Boats, jet skis, ships, submarines, all of it. Big, big, big focus. Not only are we going to witness major rescue efforts and humanitarian efforts to pull folks from flooded regions due to cyclones, hurricanes, and other atmospheric activities, I have been seeing visions for quite some time of major tsunamis. Again, going back at least 2 years ago, I've done video after video on it for quite a few years. And some predictions take 2 to 4 years to come into the light. But the visions that I've had of these great tsunami waves, I have no doubt are going to begin to hit in 2025. And I see changes in land structures, changes in as if basically new land or new islands are being formed while others simply just drop into the waters. So Spirit tells me that we will see multiple tsunami warnings before they actually become one reality after another. Meaning that we're going to see, huge waves hitting multiple coastlines, not just one. From east to west to south to north, says the spirits. So watch those coastlines, friends. Especially, when we get closer to July, especially. But I wouldn't roll out anytime, even over the next 2 weeks, that it all starts to ignite. Now, weight on the waters is not just limited to floods, storms, or tsunami waves. It's related to all things water, friends. The oceans, the rivers, and all bodies of water play a very huge role in grabbing our attention in the coming months and in the coming years. The oceans, of course, being the biggest of all. So Spirit shows me a vision of the ocean literally boiling up from extreme heat. I saw a vision, in the same vision, marine life and wildlife affected by these boiling waters, which could only be, I'm not an expert here with that. I can only interpret my visions, but I would think this would be caused from a major underwater volcanic eruption. 3 eruptions in all, according to the spirits. But I've been seeing the vision of these underwater volcanoes for a while. But the vision that I had the other day, it looked like it was boiling up, and then I saw a fish floating, and it just felt really awful to me. And I feel that there's going to be 3 large volcanoes that we witness erupting out of the oceans. 2 feel to me somewhat close together, while the third one seems to be quite a distance away. And when I say close together, I mean we could be 100 miles apart from each other, and then, between the 2, and then the third could be like thousands of miles apart. I felt like there were 3 happening beneath the ocean. Likely, again, the North Pacific towards the United States and off the coast of Oregon, excuse me, and then the other being over there near Japan, areas I pointed to in the past. So if you want to know more about the areas of concern that I have actually pointed to on the map, I did so in my last weather prediction video. So be sure to check that video out. And I have even pointed to areas like the area of Greece, where all that activity with the volcanoes there was happening. I pointed to that last year in last year's weather video. And there's going to be unrest in that area as well, all along that Mediterranean, in accordance to my weather predictions. I will put out a new weather prediction and hurricane prediction video sometime in June. Keep an eye out for that. Other concerns that we're going to see around water is a record amount of folks being unfortunately consumed in some way or another by waters. Whether it be from the tsunamis, which in past video, come to think about it, I think I got a number like 1.2 million, which would be a horrific tsunami for sure. And I've seen visions of record amount of drownings. Drownings, not just in the ocean, but rivers, lakes, swimming pools, and anything water again. Even, this just popped in my brain, but even like bathtubs with kids, you must be on top of kids in bathtubs. Don't leave kids by themselves at all. Not in these coming times, not in these coming energies. And, swimming pools, more so community swimming pools. For whatever reason, I felt like a lot of incidents around community swimming pools. Some community swimming pools being shut down completely, likely due to some type of bacteria or infections that come out of that. And I feel that we are sadly going to hear of some type of electrocution due to faulty wire and other causes, again involving water in some way. I see a similar issue in a vision of electric causing shocks at either a carnival or amusement park of some sort after it rained pretty hard. And I believe somehow the railing or something or the platform of some sort gets electrified. So let's hold in the light that doesn't come into truth. Probably a carnival, because carnivals are usually more dangerous than amusement parks or fairs or whatever you call it in your neck of the woods. Other issues with waters are going to include many other on the water type of events. Again, boats, ships, even jet ski accidents that cause, fatalities of some sort. Definitely not a year to drive a jet ski for your very first time. So if you're going on a vacation somewhere and those jet skis look, tempting, but you've never been on one, don't do it. And I've been on jet skis, and they can be dangerous. Actually, I had a cousin that she was in a coma for a while after the jet ski in Wildwood, New Jersey. He, pinned her under the water. Yeah, she pulled out, thankfully, but that was crazy. That was a long time, back in the 80s, I believe that was. And it reminds me, another thing I saw was a huge ship in visions that was overturned in the waters. It reminded me of the ship that overturned in Italy many, many years back. Remember that? That was in my predictions that year as well. Several boating accidents around tourist boats and/or ferries, and one on the Hudson River between New York and New Jersey. Not sure what that's all about. Waters also would, of course, include our drinking water. Water is life, friends. And even citywide water system failures of some sort. I see drinking water being trucked in, even being brought in by boats to some areas, which was really weird to me. Why are they bringing stuff in by boat? That could be maybe connected to the aftermath of tsunamis or something else that happens. I see drinking water being trucked in, again, boated in to many areas. Some stuck by, some that were struck, of course, by severe weather. Others are due to municipal water issues. And we're going to hear, and Germany just came to my mind too. So problems in Germany with certain municipal water authorities. I know Germany's a big country, but certain parts are going to have problems, and that could even be due to the outages. And we're going to hear many being told, during these coming months to boil their water. Boil your water. Find a spring and get natural water. And we're going to hear many not only being told to boil their water. We're going to hear many in the Middle East and parts of Africa where major heat is going to cause bodies of water to suddenly just dry up. It's going to cause wells to dry in those areas. And in some areas, people are going to have to flee due to the drought, lack of water, and soon lack of food. Not good. It feels like that could be across Africa, parts of the Middle East, and other parts of the world as well. India just popped in my mind as well. So with the crazy emotional energies that are coming in, that are going to be hitting in the coming months, this is likely going to make some folks desperate as well. And when folks react out of desperation, it's not always good. So folks attempting, again, to steal trucks of food. I saw somewhere that they were trying to steal trucks of food and water trucks. This could even be over there near Israel as well. Could be other places, but I saw people trying to steal food because they were starving. And even conflicts, again, over water, which goes back to a past prediction of water wars that I talked about a couple years back. And lastly, on the subject of water and water-related issues, hopefully quickly teaching the sleepers out there that water is life, friends. Water is life. Therefore, water is literally, truly godly. Maybe water is God. Maybe air is God. Maybe it's all God. But regardless, I feel that water focus is going to bring focus also to the dams, to the bridges, as I predicted in the past. I saw one bridge collapse, which shortly did after, in Maryland. But Spirit said that there would be more. And we saw that ship that crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge, luckily not causing the bridge to collapse, but definitely led 2 people to the gates of heaven. But I do see 2 bridges collapsing, other bridges collapsing. One from a run-in with a boat or a ship, just like we saw in Maryland. And the other, another bridge, I see swaying back and forth in my vision, swaying back and forth. And then I saw, it looked like the movie 2012 or something. It was swaying back and forth, and I saw the steel rods start to snap. And then I saw several vehicles plunging pretty far distance into the waters below. And I feel that this is likely got to be from a major earthquake. Not sure where I was. This could even be on the other side of the globe around Asia, China, or Philippines. And likely, because of my vision, there will be video of this. Because a lot of times my visions end up being, it's like I'm watching a movie. So remember, friends, water is life. And we must always ensure that we have a supply of water of some sort, or at least a nearby place that you can go and get water, even if you have to boil it or filter it. And if you're venturing into or onto the waters in the coming months, whether it's by boat or any other method, please do be very mindful, friends. Be very mindful when you're out on your water adventures. And always know deep in your heart that you will be safe. And follow your intuition, because your intuition never lies. My number 3 topic and predictions are revolved around the world conflicts and peace treaties. No doubt that the world conflicts continue to see no end in sight as of now. And I'm recording this video on March 20th, 2025. From Russia's refusal to attend the peace talks, over there in Turkey, Israel's continued bombardment of other areas and countries, all while both are greatly affecting innocent civilians. All conflicts do, and have been. Not cool. This includes the conflict even between Pakistan and India. So, is there an end in sight, friends? Eventually, yes. The answer is yes, eventually. But not quite yet. Not quite yet, because soon things are going to intensify before they somewhat begin to settle down. And they're going to intensify quite a bit, friends. Quite a bit. All the way to the point, and this just came to my mind. In the past, I saw visions of the radiation symbol, like a radiation leak. I saw the vision of the sign for fallout shelters. So that tells me something's happening on a radiation type level. I wouldn't say necessarily I'm not going to say the word, but feeded energy. But it could also be some type of major radiation leak like Chernobyl. But that just came to my mind, so Spirit's putting that in my brain. So do not be surprised when the prophesized 7-year peace treaty actually ends up getting signed between now and early 2026. That's part of the prophecies. You saw President Trump going across the Middle East, behind Israel's back, trying to make peace and deals with everyone, made lots of deals with everyone. Interesting. And I wouldn't trust any of them either, because I see a lot of backstabbing happening to United States. Especially, once one administration's gone, it all goes back to the way it was in most cases. But things are about to change again drastically. The summer months are going to appear like the world has gone completely mad. And in the past, I saw Russia using a new weapon. You may recall that if you've been following me long enough, because they did. I believe it was last year, and it was some type of new missile that they were bragging about. Well, I feel that there's other types of weapons being hidden from us, obviously, from likely multiple countries and multiple militaries, including here in the United States. And I feel that these secret weapons are very well hidden, but Spirit shows me a light shining on them from several angles. This was a very interesting vision that I had. My vision is somewhat of a high-tech weapon hidden in the darkness. And I feel it's somewhere deep in the ground. And most people will think, the nuclear weapons, but because they're hidden in the ground, this is different. And the way Spirit showed me in the vision was, I felt I was deep in the ground, and suddenly this slight little light began to appear from above. And then it got brighter and brighter. And then I realized that it was some type of hatch opening up, and I felt the movement of this weapon like an elevator lifting up. See, if it was a nuke, it wouldn't lift up. It would just shoot right out of the ground. Whatever this was, I felt like it was lifting out of the ground to be activated. What could it be? I don't know. It's something new and something that we're not quite aware of. And the movement of this, I believe this is a weapon that may be in the hands of perhaps Pakistan. If not, then definitely India, because I felt like I was in that area of the globe. And my vision ended. My vision ended as I saw this light like brighten up this weapon. But again, it was something I couldn't identify. It wasn't like a missile or anything like that. It was just like some kind of high-tech something. And that's how Spirit showed it to me. The light shining on it as it moves slowly up into place. So I can't say it's being used. I didn't see that in my vision. I certainly hope not. But if they're lifting it up out of the hole and out of the ground, likely whoever it is going to use it. And then we're going to be revealed about these new weapons. I see huge fires that are going to ignite between Russia and the Ukraine both. First, I see wildfires that occur in regions of Russia, which I do not necessarily believe are connected to the conflict. However, another large fire I have no doubt is related to the conflict. And this fire feels to me like it will be as if fire will be the next new kind of weapon of choice or defense or offense or whatever you want to call it in conflict. And some large fires feel to me to be connected around oil and gas. Major explosions, incidents around chemical spills, oil spills, gas leaks. It's another part. Not that that's all conflict related, but it's another thing that's coming to mind and what we're heading into in coming months. So speaking of which, I feel that we're going to be hearing way too much around pipeline incidents and accidents involving fires. Unfortunate environmental disasters from oil spills, especially on or near the waters. Again, big focus, water. Water is life. Got to keep our waters clean. And more sabotage, of course, I feel is with all the above that I just spoke about. Back to the conflicts. I see big fires forming around the Middle East. I saw large clouds of smoke entering into a city and residential areas, like kind of like we saw in New York and all on the East Coast a couple years ago. Look like that. And these feel very intentional, like intentional set fires to me. And it feels like an act of conflict. I also see several large explosions in and around Israel that very much appear to be gas or oil-like explosions. I feel that, a lot of distress around the continent of Africa in coming months. That feels to me not related to just earth or weather type of events. I feel that the energies that are the energies of conflict. So I don't know what kind of new conflicts are breaking out through parts of Africa. Sudden conflicts. They felt very sudden throughout in areas that will become a focus in the future of humanitarian efforts. Libya also strongly came to mind, which I know is already, unstable and not in a good place. But I feel strongly in some kind of strong energy pull to Libya and something along the borders of Egypt as well. So only time will tell, friends. And I do feel that peace will prevail. Peace will prevail in due time, but not right away. Not until we go through this coming rough patch season that we're about to step into. And I feel more peace comes in 2026 after several conflicts actually end up getting out of hand. And these conflicts that get out of hand are going to bring a shock factor to the entire world, which is likely why I saw those symbols of the radiation symbols in Fallout Shelter, which would also likely be the use of some type of new weapon of some sort. Now, if you tuned into my Tuesday show today on the 20th when I'm recording this won't be out until a couple days from now, I talked about a weapon being used, a manipulation to one of these incoming massive underwater volcanoes. I feel like it's being manipulated. And in my vision, it literally looked like a bomb going off under the water, which maybe, perhaps could be the case. Who knows? But it'll appear to us like a volcano. But I feel like it's being manipulated. And again, going back, I do believe that peace will prevail. Another country that really strongly came to mind was Turkey. I'm not sure what is going on in or with Turkey, but something is certainly coming from Turkey, something big. And it feels to me that Turkey may decide to back another country in another conflict. That's what it felt like. Now, Syria also came to mind, and Spirit gave me this overwhelming feeling of bad vibes in and around Syria. Something big is going to hit in that area, in that region. Look out, I think Israel might be coming for you all. I think they might, or something's coming for you. Could be also a combination of events, because that's what's happening, a combination of volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, and conflict. It's going to be a bit overwhelming, and it's going to hit the economy really hard. This is part of their Great Reset plan. Come in and make it look good for all of us. We must be aware, we must be vigilant, we must be mindful. So let us all hold in the light that all conflicts resolve, and for the first time ever, there will be peace that prevails over the entire globe, which that probably hasn't happened in thousands of years. That will come eventually as we continue to hold it in the light. Before I move on to the final two big topics and predictions related to it, I want to welcome you to the channel, back to the channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT, spiritual medium, right here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. If you're new here and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, and you want to vibe with this awesome tribe, be sure to smash that subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. Thank you to all the big supporters of this channel, whether they're members of this community, other platform communities, the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community. Links are all down below in the description. And the contributors to this channel that make this free content, possible for everybody else. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. Also, sign up to the free newsletter down below. And remember, you can catch me every Tuesday for Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time, where we talk about world events, how they relate to predictions and prophecy, with new predictions each and every week. Be sure to check it out, and remember to always set your notifications. And thank you for giving a thumbs up, like, to help this content to get out to other people so that our tribe can grow. Let us move on to the final two topics in these top predictions for the remainder of 2025. The next topic is definitely you do want to look up. Not that movie, Don't Look Up. No, we're going to call it Do Look Up, because the problem is people just don't look up enough. People are too busy looking down at the ground, down at their phones, or even down on themselves. Take some time to do some sky gazing, friends. There is no time more significant than now, where I must say, do look up, friends. Do look up. I go outside and gaze at the sky all the time, and I'm right on the other side of the mountain. That mountain behind me in the picture, which is out front, is the secret forest, they call it. And I know that there's an underground military base there. I have no doubt. So I always watch over there waiting for activity, but haven't seen anything yet. I've seen things over there on the other side of the mountain, especially in Boynton Canyon where Bradshaw Ranch is. But I definitely always keep looking up, always looking into the sky. So friends, keep looking up, and perhaps, always have a camera or a phone on hand just in case. Sky events and strange activity is something Spirit spoke about quite some time ago. Actually, last year in October's forecast, Spirit said come early December, we would get raided by sky events, and look what happened on the East Coast of the United States and globally with the drone invasions, the alleged drones, but the activity. Spirit told us that was coming, and Spirit is telling us, since last summer to watch the skies and watch for invasions in our skies. And that's exactly what played out in 2024. That was just a test, some of it. Wait until the real ones arrive. A lot of that we know is government related to DARPA, and goodness only knows who else. But there's the real ones over there too, up there, around there, what have you. And there is so much more to come in the coming months that's going to prove this to be the case, with strange activity becoming stranger and stranger. I see visions of a quite a large number of lights rising up out of the ocean along coastlines, kind of like we saw in New Jersey. They were coming out of the ocean, but this looked huge to me, like big things coming up and rising out of the ocean and out of the sea, and it was along coastlines. And this felt like the west coast of the United States and even, again, the east coast of the United States once again. The coastlines of Peru and the coastlines of Chile. I saw lights rising from the Mediterranean. And then also I saw lights rising out of the ocean around Japan. So last year, drones and strange lights went viral, but soon this subject will become bigger. It will become bigger, more detailed, and with more daylight sightings, because most of these are at night. But daylight sightings with clear video of spaceships and all kinds of other wild activity. Photos, again, strange ships that they'll probably still try to tell us are drones, but it'll be too obvious that they are not. It's going to be interesting, friends. The month of July, that feels huge to me. That feels so huge where we are going to be looking towards the skies more and more frequently. You should be watching the skies now. But don't take your eyes off the skies in July, because it's going to be really interesting, especially in big cities, says the spirits in my ear right now, especially in big cities. And again, along coastlines, no matter where you are in the world. So if you're on a coastline, get out there and do some sky gazing. I see strange sightings over Washington, D.C., and I see a White House press briefing where questions are being asked by the press about this activity. They told us they were going to tell us about the drones. They told us they were going to release the Epstein stuff. They told us they were going to do this and that, and they haven't done crap yet, friends. Nothing. Just little teasers. So, it's going to be interesting when they start asking questions at the White House, where questions, of course, are going to be asked over and over. Whether we get a response, that'll be interesting. But soon after, another huge whistleblower is going to step forward when this is all happening. Perhaps even a plant that they put into place that steps forward with all these truths that they want us to know. Some of those whistleblowers are blowing the whistle because they're being allowed to do so. So the skies include everything with aerospace, friends. Everything space and aerospace related, from planes, planes, aeroplanes, rockets, even missiles. It's all related to the sky. And we could see missiles hitting the wrong targets. That could be a big thing that we start seeing, or they'll tell us they hit the wrong targets or a failure. We're also seeing, this is a good one, a lot of missiles failing. Hitting the ground but not doing anything. Crashing into whatever but not actually igniting. So we'll see a lot of that. And we're going to see problems rising for both SpaceX and NASA both, who I actually feel may come together in some type of historic move in the future, even though they're probably already together. Remember, they tell us things way after the fact. Kind of like the recent announcement of Joe Biden's diagnosis with the big C, which is like a 9 that's so advanced that there's no way that he just got diagnosed. There's no way. Ask any professional doctor, they'll tell you there's no way. They've known about this for a while. I bet you he had the big C when he was still allegedly running the White House. Interesting. So we're going to see problems arise again around them. And not only that, we're going to see that historic move between SpaceX and NASA. But I also see several accidents and failed launches that fall back to Earth, revolved around NASA and SpaceX, likely. I see one in India, too. So India's doing something with the launches that go bad. That just came to me as well. So I would tell you to expect that we could see important news coming from the space station as well, and more issues that rise from space in July and August. Space, that's still part of the sky, friends. Space. Spirit warns us of fake footage. Beware of fake footage. That could also, we could also say is simply propaganda. Pushing fear around aliens, portals opening up, and things that happened like we saw back in 2023, which was in my 2023 world forecast. 2023 was the 7 universal year in numerology, which is about spirituality, spiritual ascension, changing your beliefs. So sure, put things out to get people to shift their belief system, to make people afraid that aliens are bad or what have you. And like Spirit told us, there's good ones and bad ones, just like there's good people and bad people. So you can't say that one specific race of alien beings are all bad. That's what Spirit said, and I'll trust Spirit more than I will anybody else, especially a government. Especially the government. So Spirit says, watch the propaganda. Now, I see issues with China and strange things falling from the skies in China. The crashing of a satellite, and not into the ocean either. And many other issues for China will also, as we also see China discover some new technology. We're going to discover, actually, not China. We're going to discover some kind of new technology that China has. Not that that has to do with the skies, but it came out. Maybe it does have to do with the skies. Maybe it's one of their crazy satellites or something that we get validation does exist. Sort of kind of like the China spy balloon, right? That was related to the skies. But this time, hopefully, we'll actually find out the truth. Hopefully. We can only hope, friends. We can only hope. We are in a time of great truth. And that'll be my last topic in just a moment. Folks are also going to begin to notice changes in our skies. And this is where it got a little creepy to me. Changes in our skies meaning changes with the moon. And strange appearances of the moon. And specifically, different moon phases that aren't appearing like they should be. Like the crescent moon isn't on the right side, for example. So weird things with that, weird things with stars that seem to have slightly moved. That probably has to do with the Earth shift that's coming. It's going to make the sky appear a little bit different. While new stars are actually going to be able to be seen with our naked eye. Bright ones where we're like, wow, what's that? That wasn't there before. So interesting times, friends. And remember, do keep your eyes to the skies. And finally, the most important topic and predictions, in my opinion, after we go through this cycle of complete chaos and craziness that does truly shift your mind, your beliefs, and your consciousness. And that brings us to the greater awakening. The greater awakening of truth. Because there is truly nothing that can open the minds and souls of others than some hard, straight up truth, friends. Some say that some just simply can't handle the truth. But soon, those some will have no other choice but for the truth to set them free. But not before angering people quite a bit. Because, yeah, they say the truth will set you free, but not before it makes you quite a bit angry. Well, some people anyway. And as horrific as some of the future predictions and even prophecy do indeed sound, I leave you with this, my friends. The number one prediction, the prediction I feel matters the most, this is bigger and this is greater because this is the greater awakening that we have only just had taken baby steps into. Steps that are soon going to turn into leaps and bounds forward into this truth and into this future. The old structures are collapsing. We're in that 9 universal year in numerology. It's all about endings and death of cycles. Next year, we step into the 1 vibration. A time to rebuild, a time to come up with new things. Of course, the energies will be scattered next year because the 1 does that. But this year, first the endings, next year the scatteredness before we build things to new structures because these old structures are collapsing. We're seeing it unfold before our eyes. And we have slowly been discovering the truth. I mean, look at all the truth that we know now compared to, say, a decade ago or since 2012. So much truth, friend. Things that people, if you went back to 2012, people would think you were a nutcase, right? And look at all the things that we were told were conspiracies that all became a reality. So you got to look at that word very strongly when they yell that word, because the truth in things that are once called conspiracy are going to become known as facts. These facts will become greater and greater. And the second half of 2025 is going to bring the greatest leaps and bounds forward to a greater and more amazing awakening. Unlike anything we can even imagine. That makes me excited. I hope it makes you excited too. And remember, sometimes we are often drugged through hell before we reach heaven's gates. Sometimes I feel like that's part of it. You got to be drugged through hell in order to reach heaven's gates. In order for those heaven gates and the magical light to shine upon you once again. And that's what's going to happen to the whole earth, friends. The light's going to shine like never before. But these prophecies must be fulfilled. The volcanic eruptions, the conflict, nation against nation. And that's happening. We've been seeing that happen for quite some time. Now, we haven't seen the earth really spit up a whole bunch of craziness, but she's about to. And no, when it's all happening, it's all about bringing our awareness to a new level, especially with the waters, for example. When we become more aware of how powerful water is, water holds consciousness. Dr. Emoto Masaru proved that. Water holds consciousness, it holds energy, it holds information. And that's how sacred it really, really, truly is. And these are the awakening cycles, the greatest awakenings of all. Sometimes you really got to smack somebody really hard on both cheeks before they wake up and see what's directly been in front of them all along. And that is the greater awakening that's happening. It is truly, truly exciting. And sure, yeah, the globalists and all are going to try to put those enslavement, mark of the beast things in place, just as prophecy speaks of. But when people awaken to new levels, that's when they say, we're not doing this anymore. That's why I see civil unrest, major protests, craziness, and chaos. But it takes that chaos in order to break down the systems, to break down current government control and all the other control they have on our financial systems, the economy, and everything else. It's all about the change. So friends, remain hopeful and know deep in your heart things are going to be amazing in the future. Because if you focus on all the doom and gloom, that's all you're going to be consuming in your daily life for yourself. And I see these visions every day. I put this content out to you. And back when I was younger, these visions disturbed me quite a bit. But then I learned to unplug. It's good to know what's about to happen or what potentially is going to happen, so we're not so shocked when it does. It's good to know about these doom and gloom events, but it's even better to know that the outcome is this greatest awakening of all. When people come together in pure love, when we are pulled together in community and we start rebuilding things in a new way with high technologically advancements that help us all, especially in the realm of healing diseases, and we're finding out more and more about the big C and the causes of it and the little things that live in our system like parasites. We're learning so much now about the body, mind, and spirit. This is truly a part of the greater awakening. And I hope you are as excited as I am for the future that lies not far away from this current time. Amazing times indeed, friends. Amazing times indeed. And there you have it, my beautiful tribe, the top 6 topics and predictions for the remainder of 2025. Your input is always important to me, so please do leave a comment, even just an emoji down below. Thank you for clicking that thumbs up love button so that we can get this content out to other people to help our tribe grow and so that this video, performs well. Your thumbs up and your comments mean a lot to me. And so does all the support that comes in from the members of this community, the subscribe star community, and all the contributors to this channel. Once again, I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. I hope to catch you on Tuesday and in the future, because I know that I will see most of you, at least, hopefully all of you, in the future. And until then, remember, friends, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine ever so brightly, and you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste, and much love, friends. Much love.